Woman finds abandoned baby buried alive. 20 years later, she gets call that changes everything. We all need to learn to appreciate each moment of our lives, both good times and those moments when we feel that God has abandoned us. Even though you don't understand the reason why painful situations happen, be patient because time will allow you to do so. After all, think about the people who have been close to death even though they weren't conscious at all. Such is the case of Azita Milanian and Matthew Whitaker. It all happened one morning in 1998 when Azita Milanian was jogging with her dogs. She loved visiting the trails of Altadena, California. These trails were usually quiet and lonely. However, this woman never imagined what she would actually find that day. One of her puppies suddenly stopped in the middle of the road as he was sniffing something very weird buried in the earth. It looked like a dead animal. Instead of ignoring the whole situation, she stopped as well for a second to observe what that really was. You'll be surprised to know that it wasn't just a creature from the woods, and it was not death at all. Her pet food found no more and no less than a baby. The first thing she saw was the baby's foot, and despite she was a little shocked at first, she immediately started digging with her own hands and didn't stop until she got him out. She just wanted to rescue the child. Once she had the kid with a blue blanket in her hands, she called 911. As she wasn't able to talk to them, she stopped at a car that was passing by. She told the driver what happened and asked him to get some help. The man immediately went to the police station while Azita took care of the newborn. As you can imagine, that traumatizing event made the boy cry non-stop, but his savior's warmth made him feel safe as he fell asleep as he grabbed her wrist. Even though Azita was touched by the boy's sweetness, she wasn't able to understand why anyone would do something like that. The baby was just a few hours old and he even had his umbilical cord. We're glad to inform you that the baby survived that hard experience, but unfortunately, Azita lost any contact with him. In fact, she was informed that the baby was adopted the next time she went to visit him at the Children's Care Center. His mother never showed up, but nobody knows for sure if she was the one who buried him in the first place. Who do you think could have done something so horrible? As you may understand, Azita Milanian was frustrated as she didn't have the chance to say goodbye to the boy. She didn't know either how to contact the new family. However, her heart hoped that someday fate would bring them together once more. This woman stopped praying God for a few more minutes with him. It was after 2 decades that her prayers would be answered, and she was able to meet the man her small miracle had become. The child had been named Matthew Whitaker, and he didn't know the story after his first hours alive. In fact, it was on one of his birthdays that his godmother decided to break the silence and tell him about the miracle. The kid was very grateful to know the story, as something in his heart made him feel special, but he wasn't conscious of how great it was the second chance life gave him. Matthew wanted to meet the woman who saved him. He wanted to thank her for how lucky he felt to survive against all odds. Ryan Seacrest's radio show was his last hope. He contacted the production team and they made even the impossible to find his savior. Azita was so excited because it would be the first time she'd see him after 2 decades. In fact, she's been waiting for this moment for a long time. She rescued him from death and he reaffirmed his faith in God. This also made him find his purpose in life. Both promised to keep in touch after their meeting.